Welcome back, everyone. Today I will talk about a topic that has been debated for the past 3 decades by scientists, politicians, governments, professors, and many others. Thus, I will present you the global warming event, but not in its usual manner. Instead, through research, I have come up with arguments that prove that the human activities do not stay at the basis of global warming. Well-known science people, such as the physicist Max Planck and the Serbian geophysicist Milutin Milankovic, have confirmed and proven this theory. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to get notified for my latest videos. Over 50 major glacial cycles have taken place on our planet in the last 2.75 million years. Global temperature rise is not generated by human activities. We are on the wrong path, a kind of hecatomb of the blind, led by the blind hysteria of environmentalists. Environmentalists have never heard of an energy balance, but those at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have. To increase the temperature of the atmosphere by 1 degree requires all the energy produced today by humanity, gathered for 600 years. The Earth periodically goes through natural phases of cooling, glaciation, and heating phases. Global warming, which means enormous amounts of cosmic energy. Of course, pollution of various kinds has harmful consequences, especially on the health of people in cities. Measures must be taken against pollution, but the phenomenon of global warming is beyond human capacity to combat it. We cannot fight with nature or with God. The physicist Max Planck said in 1963, "A new scientific truth does not triumph by convincing opponents, making them see the light, but rather because opponents eventually die, and the new generation appears that is familiar with the new truth." Earth's history is dominated by glaciation-interglaciation cycles. In the last 2.75 million years alone, measurements of ice cores and ocean sediments have led to the identification of more than 50 major global warming episodes, followed by global cooling. The Milankovitch cycles. The appearance of these cycles is caused by subtle changes in the cosmic parameters of the Earth during its rotation around the Sun. First described by Serbian geophysicist Milutin Milankovic, the cycles that bear his name include variations in the eccentricity of the ellipse of revolution. With a period t equals 100,000 years, the angle of inclination of the axis of rotation t equals 41,000 years, and the precession of the equinox t equals 23,000 years. Milankovitch cycles vary the amount of solar radiation reached at each latitude in each season, and can be calculated with astronomical accuracy. In the second phase, the size of the ice caps in the northern hemisphere comes under the control of two greenhouse gases in the atmosphere: carbon dioxide, also known as CO2, and methane, also known as CH4. When solar energy is rising, initiating the melting of glaciers, the concentrations of greenhouse gases increase and contribute through the heat retained in the atmosphere to the accelerated melting of the ice caps. When solar energy decreases in intensity, the concentrations of greenhouse gases also decrease, and lower temperatures allow higher accumulations of ice. CO2 emissions follow an increase in temperatures after a period of 800 plus minus 200 years. Is the ratio of global warming to rising CO2 concentrations of the egg or chicken type? Who causes whom? Existing data describing the last 240,000 years of climate history undoubtedly indicate that CO2 emissions are following rising temperatures after a period of 800 plus minus 200 years. It is an unsolved mystery that since Al Gore and his inconvenient truth, the egg-hen ratio has changed by 180 degrees. Now it is said in some parts of the media that carbon dioxide has begun to rise after 1850, then causing the global average temperature to rise by 0.85 degrees. The current interglaciation began very similarly to previous ones, 8 in number, extending over the last 740,000 years. The largest caps, which developed 20,000 years ago, began to melt 17,000 years ago, as the intensity of the insolation increased in the northern hemisphere at high latitudes. Following the increase in temperatures after 800 years, the concentrations of greenhouse gases also began to increase. About 10,000 years ago, the maximum insolation had been reached and most of the ice caps had melted. Before the last ice cap in the northern hemisphere completely disappeared, cosmic forces which had initiated the global warming cycle reversed their course, pushing the climate system into the global cooling phase. As a result, the concentrations of the two greenhouse gases began to decline. The pattern of the last 8 interglaciations seems to have been followed, as in the book. According to Milankovitch cycles, summer insolation levels have been falling for 10,000 years and have now reached just below the average of the last hundreds of thousands of years. Compared to the long-term natural intervals, the insolation during the northern summers decreased by about 55% compared to its maximum value that triggered the last interglaciation. Ice caps have been present 90% in the northern hemisphere for the past few thousand years, suggesting a slow cooling of the climate. Regarding pollution, this is another topic. There are hypotheses of the influence of human activity on global warming, but these have not been scientifically confirmed so far. The topic of pollution and global warming emerged after the Middle East oil crisis, and there was much political speculation. Well, this was all for today, so if you liked my video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and press the bell button to get notified about my latest videos. Thank you very much. See you next time.